Tell me about Ebenezer Knox.
What?
Ebenezer Knox.
Where on earth did you dig him up?
County Records Office. He was your great-grandfather's original partner, and I think he's the key to all this.
But he died more than 100 years ago.
Yes, but not in Oxford. He seems to have been a very prominent citizen, but there's no record of him after 1850 when he sold his house in Woodstock. And there's no evidence he ever sold his half share in the brewery.
No, not sold. But he certainly agreed to relinquish it. What?
You know all about this, don't you? Family archives?
Yes. Just as my father left them. And my great-grandfather as well, probably. I'm sorry about the dust. I haven't been down here for years. You are?
To whom it may concern, I, the undersigned, hereby do solemnly and humbly swear to leave the city of Oxford forthwith and never return, and that in exchange, Timothy Radford of Marston Lodge, Oxford, who provide me with the sum of £100 each and every year for so long as I shall live. Signed, Ebenezer Knox. It doesn't explain why.
No, but this does. Look at the names of the parents.
Ebenezer Knox, Margaret Fordham. Who was she?
A woman of the streets. There's a newspaper cutting here. Oxford woman found guilty of vagrancy and prostitution. Third offence, jail for 1 year.
So Knox left Oxford to avoid a scandal. The date fits. The birth was registered in 1850. Where did he go?
Somewhere in the northeast, I believe. He doesn't specify.
According to this document, Knox agreed never to return to Oxford. But he didn't agree to give up his half share in the brewery.
Northeast, you say? 1850-ish.
Ebenezer Knox. Seems he cut quite a dash when he first came to Sunderland. A flashy high spender with a posh southern accent. He started another brewery with a bloke called Beddoes.
Come into the office.
Neither of them could have been much good at business because it pretty quickly went down the tubes. Beddoes' son bought them out in the end.
Where did all this come from?
An old mate of mine's in the history department at Newcastle University. There's a professor there, just written a book, Drink and Sobriety in the Victorian Northeast. Knew all about Knox.
I've already got this from Lineker's computer.
Ah, but that's not all, sir. Not quite. In 1852, Knox married a local girl. And they had a daughter who married a man named Priest. Ah. Interesting, eh? And then I suddenly remembered where I'd seen that solicitor fella Nelson before.
What a pair they must have been.
Who?
Knox and Radford. One of them a hypocrite, the other a blackmailer.
Blackmailer?
Knox was a justice of the peace, a pillar of the community. So when a convicted prostitute gave birth to his child, she took the birth certificate to Radford. Radford probably paid her off, then blackmailed Knox into leaving Oxford. Made him sign a letter promising never to return.
Radford ever give him back his share?
No, give him £100 a year, a pittance.
So, technically, half the brewery still belongs to Knox's heirs.
Not just technically, Lewis, legally.
Can we come in, Mrs. Priest? Where's Victor, Mrs. Priest?
Upstairs.
Could you ask him to come down, please?
Why?
I think you know why, Mrs. Priest.
He couldn't have done those murders. He was out with a girlfriend.
We've talked to her. On both nights, he left her around 9 o'clock.
And came straight home.
I don't believe you, Mrs. Priest. I think you've been covering up for him.
It was his grand's fault. She should never have told him.
About your claim on the brewery?
That he'd been swindled out of his inheritance. That's a dangerous thing to tell a little boy. Especially a little boy who keeps his feelings bottled up all the time.
But it was you who persuaded him to come here, to apply for the job at Radford's.
But he had the qualifications and we needed the money. To pay a solicitor.
Nelson. But he told you your claim couldn't be substantiated.
Just my luck to hire a crook.
Which is your son's room?
I'll show you. He took every single penny we had. And then when these murders started,
He tried to blackmail you.
I told him we couldn't pay him anymore. Even this house is rented. But he wouldn't listen. Victor, put your jacket on, dear. I'm afraid you have to go to the police station.
Your mother's going too, Victor. We know he was with his girlfriend at the time of Nelson's murder. You killed him, didn't you, Mrs. Priest, to protect your son?
When I come out, I'll get you too.
I shouldn't worry about it, sir. By the time he comes out, you'll be long gone.
You're wasted as a copper, Lewis. You should have joined the diplomatic service.
Something is worrying you, though.
Yes.
What?
Loose ends. And a piece that doesn't fit.
What does it matter, Chief Inspector? The boys are dead. Trevor's dead.
You knew he'd committed a fraud?
Fraud? What are you talking about?
When did you find out, Mr. Radford?
When he asked me to guarantee a bank loan, Trevor persuaded the surveyor to overestimate the brewery's assets, thus increasing the value of the shares.
So he could borrow against them?
Oh, no, it wasn't for personal gain. It was to save the brewery.
It was still a fraud. And when farmers made their bid, he realized he was in danger of being found out. So he wrote a backdated letter to the surveyor expressing his disagreement with the high valuation.
I knew that once George Lineker took a look at the books, the fraud would be exposed, and we couldn't have that.
Oh, no, we couldn't have that, could we? The family reputation must be preserved at all costs. The magnificent Radfords. For 10 years, you've been looking down your nose and smiling at me, and all the time... Just look at you. I expect this is embarrassing you, Inspector, but I'm pleased it's all out in the open now, because... I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to say this. You never wanted me, did you? Just the grandchildren. My kids. So, now you're going to get your own way. But I'm taking them with me. And if you want to see them, you are going to have to whistle.
Well, Inspector. Must the evil that men do live after them? Or can it remain our secret?
There's nothing I can prove, Mrs. Radford. I can't even prove the surveyor deliberately made a false valuation, so... your son, Trevor, can rest in peace.
So there are more important things than money.
What?
Family honour. That's what the Radfords care about.
It's what he cares about. I'm not sure about her.
Reckon she'll stay with him when the money runs out. I mean, they'll have to sell that house, won't they? Pay off the...
Say that again. Say that again, what you just said.
Well, I was just wondering whether she'd stay with him when the money runs.
That's it, Lewis. You're a genius. You've cracked it.
Well, I thought we'd already cracked it.
We cracked half of it, but we got the other half wrong.
So I'm a genius, am I?
Yes, because you talk like Mrs. Priest. You don't talk like Mrs. Radford.
I'm not with you, sir.
Isabel Radford wouldn't say stay. She'd say remain.
So?
Can it remain our secret?
Can it remain our secret, she said. The woman that phoned Nelson's secretary told her to ask him to remain at the office.
A bit tenuous, isn't it?
I shall be arriving just after 6. Now, most people would have said, I'll be there just after 6, wouldn't they? Mrs. Priest certainly would.
Yeah, but Nelson was blackmailing Mrs. Priest. She admitted it herself.
Only since the first murder, and only for pocket money. He was already playing for bigger stakes.
Why didn't you go to the police about the blackmail?
We'd have lost half the brewery. That odious little man, Nelson. He threatened to give it to the Priests. I wasn't going to have those bloody people get their hands on our brewery.
No. Oh, my darling. What a terrible, terrible burden you had to bear. Why didn't you share it with me?
Because I didn't want you involved, Charles.
Oh.
If the deal had gone through, I'd have paid Nelson off for my share, and that would have been that.
Oh, no, it wouldn't. He'd have come back for more. Blackmailers always do.
Well, that's one problem you won't have to face now. Is that you, Morse? I was just coming to see you. How kind of you to offer me a lift.
No. 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 No.
We're arranging to have someone take you home, Mrs. Preece. You may still be charged with obstructing the course of justice. You all right?
I'll be alone again now, won't I?
Yes, I suppose you will.
Fancy a pinter?
Do you know, Lewis, I'm not absolutely sure I do.